Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Joel Cordero. Police are searching for 36-year-old Rowan Felice, who was wanted following a high-speed chase that ended in a crash. The incident occurred on November 19th when Felice was pulled over for driving with a suspended license. When officers attempted to stop him, Felice fled the scene, accelerating the speeds over 80 miles per hour. During the chase, he swerved into oncoming traffic to pass another vehicle. Felice continued eastbound on Interstate 80 before exiting and crashing into a concrete traffic barrier on Church Street near Whitehaven. After the crash, he fled on foot, jumping over a guardrail and losing a shoe in the process. Despite an extensive search, officers were unable to locate him. Felice is considered wanted and is facing multiple charges, including evading arrest. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is urged to contact 911. We have an update to a story we brought to you last night. Yesterday, November 25th, the Woodlands Inn located on Route 309 in Wilkes-Barre was unexpectedly closed and had a sign posted on entryways saying the building was unsafe for occupation. It was later announced by code enforcement officials that the notice was posted because PPL had cut power to the building on account of over $100,000 of unpaid utility bills. The power was turned back on Tuesday afternoon, but the notice from code enforcement remains, and officials say that the notice will stay there for the foreseeable future. James Humanansky says that a number of repairs will have to be made to the building. After that, a final inspection can be made to verify the building is safe for occupation. With Thanksgiving right around the corner, there are bound to be some closings for this time of year. The Hazleton Public Transit Office has made an announcement on their Thanksgiving schedule. In observance of the holiday, there will be no bus service on Thursday, November 27th. However, the bus service will resume on Friday, November 28th. The office will be closed on both days. In celebration of the Thanksgiving holiday, the Bloomsburg Police Department and parking enforcement offices will be closed the rest of the week. The closing of the parking enforcement office has started earlier today at 1:30 p.m., and this will remain until Monday, December 1st at 8 o'clock a.m. The lobby of the police department started its closing at 4 o'clock earlier today, and will also reopen on Monday at 8 o'clock a.m. If any assistance is needed while the lobby is closed, call 570-784-6300. If there is an emergency, call 911. As the temperatures drop, you will see an increase on your gas bill. According to several gas companies, such as UGI, PPL, Met-Ed, and Petco, supply prices for utilities regulated by the State Public Utility Commission will increase starting on December 1st. For PPL customers, the price to compare will increase from 0.1249 cents to 0.12953 cents per kilowatt hour, or 3.7%. For Met-Ed customers, there will be a higher increase up to 8.9% gas rate. For Petco customers, the price will increase up to 6% gas rate. And finally, UGI will increase 0.9% of its gas rate, raising the total average monthly bill from $118.43 to $119.49. After months of closure, Wilkes-Barre City Mayor George Brown has announced that Horton Street will temporarily reopen for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. The street had been closed since June after massive sinkholes appeared, followed by another in July. Officials say the damage was caused by a burst stormwater line, which led to the road's collapse. While the road will reopen for the holiday, it's set to close again next week briefly to finalize the last components of the project. Coming up on WYLN News, a local thrift store is helping those affected by a fire that devastated their home. Plus, a local hospital awarded a registered nurse with the International Daisy Award. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network, part of Jefferson Health. With LVHN Same Day, Next Day Cancer Care, you can get a video visit with a clinician within 48 hours following a cancer diagnosis. Learn more at lvhn.org/cancercare.
kind of partly cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cher's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cher's is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business.
Hey, it's Justin from Grand Central, and our trained sleep professionals are here to help you sleep like never before. With an extensive line of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we are sure to find you the right mattress at the right price. Free delivery and removal, interest-free financing for up to 60 months, and same or next day delivery on select models.
And don't forget, everyday low prices. Stop in to one of our 2 locations,
Route 93 in Escapec,
Or downtown Hazleton.
and see why Northeast and Central Pennsylvania sleeps better with Grand Central.
Hey guys, this is Ray, Pat, and Chad from Blaze Alexander Greater Hazleton GMC. I just want to give thanks. I'm thankful for being part of the community and being able to share what we make with the charities.
And I'm very thankful that we're taking the deals the other guys won't.
I'm thankful to wear this turkey hat right now.
I'd be thankful that you don't work here.
So from the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you for being part of Blaze Alexander Greater Hazleton. Who's talking turkey?
Talking real turkey.
Gobble, gobble.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
Welcome back to WYLN News. With the season of giving right around the corner, one mystery man is getting a bit of a head start on the giving spirit. A man who asked to stay anonymous reached out to Shayla Baranowski, owner of Colmont Thrift, and asked if she could stay open so the victims of a recent fire in Mount Carmel could get anything they might need. The man told Baranowski to keep a list of what they buy and the price, and he would cover the cost. Right now, Colmont Thrift is open Wednesday to Saturday, but Baranowski said if the victims call, she will open the doors up any time they need anything. Colmont Thrift has something for everybody, ranging from, but not limited to, kitchen appliances, newborn baby clothes, adult clothes, shoes, and books. The store is not currently accepting donations because they don't know how to get them to the victims, but Baranowski has no problem helping those who need it. Neither the mystery man or Baranowski know the fire victims, but she is grateful that somebody is willing to help people that lost everything during this time of year. The Lehigh Valley Health Network was proud to announce and congratulate the International Daisy Award honoree. Mary Lynn Barletta, registered nurse of Lehigh Valley Home Care, Hazleton, has received the International Award, all for making her best efforts for her patients. Not only has Barletta gotten the Daisy Award, but also a 30-year pin for having her patients always be her top priority. Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton held a nice celebration with Barletta's family and colleagues. There is a reason that the Daisy Award is given to extraordinary nurses. More information on the award can be found on www.daisyfoundation.org. It is time for Bloomsburg's annual Parade of Lights. On Friday, November 28th, the parade will take place on Light Street Road, Main Street, Market Street, and West 5th Street. The established roads and streets will be closed for the parade to pass through smoothly from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m., and as the parade passes, each one will reopen. Authorities strongly advise travelers to use caution while going through this area, as there will be plenty of pedestrians trying to enjoy the event. WYLN would like to wish a happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. All of us here at WYLN News hope you all have a comfortable and relaxing holiday. Coming up on Frackville's News Choice, we see what goes on this week's Wellness Wednesday. Plus, WYLN historian Chris Fulmer takes us on the path through history with Sunbury Part 3. And stay with us on WYLN. We'll be right back.
When you bundle home and auto, life can be easier. You choose coverage that makes sense for you, at a price that's right for you, and a local State Farm agent who's there for you.
Call State Farm agent Pete Casalika in the greater Hazleton area today.
For a better customer experience, visit Fairway Subaru in Hazleton. Fairway Subaru has been providing generations of customers with Subarus. With exceptional customer service they've come to expect. Check out our selection in person or at fairwaysubaru.com. Fairway Subaru, the right car, the right price, the right dealer.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, Grace San is back with us again to talk about the 12-step program. We've all heard about it, but most people are discharged after 4 or 5 steps. Let's talk about the full 12-step program to change and break addiction to give you freedom in your life.
Hi, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Lisa Marie, and we are actually at Capriotti's here in Tresco, and we are here with one of our presenters at our Board of Associates meeting today, and our presenter is Leanne Yetter, who is an audiologist at our Health and Wellness Center, and she's in the same office as Heidi, is it Fiorelli, and also with Dr. Hahn and Dr. Pollock, which many of you are very familiar with. We are here to tell you a little bit about what an audiologist does and focus on a certain audience of patients that you work with. So tell us a little bit about what an audiologist does.
So audiology mainly focuses on hearing and balance, so the organs of your ear. We do hearing evaluations, so we test both tonal and speech as far as hearing is concerned. We also test middle ear function, how the eardrum is moving and how your middle ear is working. And we also do balance tests as well. We work very closely with the ear, nose, and throat doctors. We see patients ranging of all ages, so we see adults. A lot of those are hearing aid patients. And then we also see kiddos.
And speaking of kiddos, you know, when you did this amazing presentation today, you were saying about more younger people, you're seeing issues with hearing. Could you focus on that a little bit and kind of tell us why we may be seeing more so in the pediatric age?
Sure. So when we hit teenage years, we get a lot of noise. You know, when people are listening to it through headphones, loud music, the earbuds that are directly in line with the eardrum. It can cause a lot of noise-induced issues as far as hearing is concerned. So we are seeing with teenagers a lot of early onset hearing loss, especially once they hit their 20s and stuff, but it starts when they're younger in their teenage years. We also see kids that are younger for issues with speech and language delays. Sometimes they have fluid or chronic ear infections. In that case, our ears and throat doctors will probably do some kind of treatment like tubes or maybe some medical treatments, medications.
So, how does someone get in touch with you? Do they need a referral from their doctor? Do they directly contact the ENT office to discover about getting an appointment? Do you know how that works?
Yes, so some insurances require referrals, some do not. Any Medicare, Medicaid patients will need referrals, but typically commercial insurances, you don't need a referral, especially for children. It doesn't help or it doesn't hurt to have a referral, especially from a pediatrician if it's a kid. But other than that, you really just need to contact the office directly. They'll be able to let you know with your insurance if you need a referral or not.
Okay, so another question I have is, you were talking also about hearing aids and the possible, not hearing aids, but like hearing loss with the possible link to dementia as well. And I know we're talking the older population now, but could you just give me a snapshot about that as well?
Sure. So untreated hearing loss, there's a study from Johns Hopkins that came out that long-term untreated hearing loss can lead to dementia or earlier onset of dementia. It's because of the fact that the area of the brain that is meant to discriminate speech and determine, sound localization, if it's not being utilized, oftentimes it will just not function as it did when you were getting that stimulation of that part of the brain. Anytime there's loss of function from the brain, that contributes to dementia. So, the sooner that we would treat hearing loss, the less likely that is to affect you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, identify some of their family members or friends and notice there might be a deficit in their hearing. Obviously, we should come first, earlier than later, to hopefully alleviate that happening with them.
Mm-hmm. Baseline hearing test never hurts. You can always come in and we can test you, even if it's normal. Then we know that when there is a loss, where we have the loss, how much of a loss it was from where you started. So it never hurts to have a baseline hearing test done.
Well, thank you so much, Leanne, for your insight, your expertise. We really appreciate it. And if you do feel you're having some issues with your hearing, we have great audiologists and our ENTs here at the Health and Wellness Center in Hazleton. And thank you for watching Wellness Wednesday.
It's cold out there. Call S.J. Kowalski for the best products and solutions to help lower your energy costs and keep your family safe and comfortable this winter. Our professional team has unparalleled experience with all the latest innovative types of heating systems. We're a Lennox Premier dealer, installing high-quality equipment, providing the ultimate experience in comfort and climate control while being energy efficient. S.J. Kowalski, heating and cooling the way the earth intended.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Watch Solo Spaceman on Wyln Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hello, I'm Wyln historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old. It's kind of partly cloudy.
The Susquehanna Valley became honeycombed with trolley lines at the turn of the 20th century. Two major lines serviced Sunbury during the trolley's peak, the Northumberland County Railway Company and the Sunbury and Selinsgrove Transit Company. Their tracks wound their way all through Sunbury, including around Cameron Park downtown. The fare for a ride was a nickel for many years, raised to 7 cents later on. Trolley service in Sunbury ended in 1939. The early 20th century saw a boom in amusement parks across the country, and the Sunbury area was fortunate to have two operate nearby during the boom. The first to open was the People's Playground, which was built as the final stop of the Sunbury and Selinsgrove trolley line in nearby Hummel's Wharf in 1908. Several years later, a contest was held to rename the park. The winning entry, sent by Mrs. Charles Kissinger of Lewistown, would be Rolling Green Park. Two roller coasters graced the park beginning in 1928, the Adult Skyline Twister and the Juvenile Junior Speedway. A Ferris wheel, bumper cars, tilt-a-whirl, motorboat rides, whip, and train ride were among the other attractions that entertained guests over the years. Rolling Green Park also featured a pool, dance hall, miniature golf course, softball field, and a theater which hosted celebrities such as Tommy Dorsey and Edgar Bergen over the years. Special events that took place in the park over the years include animal acts and motorcycle daredevils. Beginning in 1915, Rolling Green Park was the site of the annual Boatmen's Reunion of former area canal workers. Traditionally held on the last Saturday in August, the reunions continued at the park through 1956. The end of trolley service in 1934 was the beginning of the end for Rolling Green Park. Attendance dipped over the ensuing decades until the decision was made, after a last-minute deal to sell it fell through, to close the park after the 1971 season. Any hopes to reopen Rolling Green Park were dashed the following year when Hurricane Agnes flooded the property beyond repair. Today, a housing development stands on Rolling Green Park's former site. Part of it does still live on, however, as part of its dark ride was incorporated into Knoble's Haunted Mansion. Meanwhile, Island Park had first opened as a picnic grove on Packer Island in the Susquehanna. Its founder, James C. Packer, wanted to build as a direct competitor to Ira Clements' Clements Park near Selinsgrove. The parks essentially proved equal in the eyes of the public. Island Park originally shut down in 1914, but in 1923 it would be reopened as a traditional amusement park with rides. Its highlight would also be its roller coaster, the Island Flyer. Island Park would ultimately have a much shorter run than Rolling Green Park, closing after 11 years of operation in 1934. After the rides were removed, the site was used for concerts for some decades afterwards. Today, a campground operates on Island Park's location. In the early decades of the 20th century, after humanity first took to the skies, those who flew early airplanes were particularly seen as heroes. Among those who joined in the art of flight in its early years was Emery Mallock, who had been born in Northumberland County village of 7 Points in 1881, but had moved to Sunbury with his family when he was 6. There has been some discrepancy over Mallock's ethnicity, with some of his descendants proudly claiming him as the nation's first African-American pilot. Other sources, such as Mallock's death certificate and census records, hint he himself identified as a white man. Either way, in his younger years, Mallock was a carpenter, working with his father Darius on some projects, including the construction of Pennsylvania State Capitol building in 1906. He eventually became a farmer, and in his spare time began building his own airplane. He would make his first recorded flight in it over 7 Points on July 24, 1911. This would soon be followed by a flight over Shamokin on Labor Day 1911. Wanting to become more adept at the art of flight, Mallock enrolled in San Diego's Curtis Aviation School in January 1912. He would pass his flight exam 2 months later, with his instructor Glenn Curtis calling Mallock one of the best flyers the schools have produced, and he was awarded his pilot's license by the Aero Club of America. By 1914, Mallock began flying regularly. He made noted flights that year over Rolling Green Park in downtown Selinsgrove, and with flights still a novelty at the time, all of Selinsgrove's factories closed that day so the workers could see Malik's flight live. He thus has the honor of being the first person to fly in both Northumberland and Snyder counties. Malik also made flights in the Philadelphia area and in New Jersey at Camden's Crescent Airport. It was there on March 4, 1928, that his skill behind the stick would come in handy when his plane's engine died in midair with 2 passengers on board behind him. Malik was able to successfully bank the plane around while stalled and successfully land it without hitting any cars or onlookers below, with only minor injuries to his passengers. His luck would run out 2 months later, however, when he crashed at Woodbury, New Jersey. This time his passenger was killed and Malik suffered serious injuries, including to his vision, which resulted in the revocation of his pilot's license. He had logged nearly 3,000 hours of air travel by then. Emery Malik died in 1959 and today rests in Northumberland County's Wolf's Crossroads Cemetery. Others would soon follow Malik into the skies over Sunbury. Transcontinental air mail service had begun by 1920, and the stretch of skies between Sunbury and Bellefonte was disparagingly known as Hell's Stretch by pilots. Then in 1920, pilot E.M. Allison was forced to land on an island in the Susquehanna due to foggy weather. The farmer who owned the land told him that he was the second pilot to make an emergency landing there within the previous few weeks. Once word of this got out, the Department of Commerce determined the island would be the perfect site for emergency landing field in the transcontinental route. It was located between 2 major stops in the line. Thus, Sunbury Airport was built in the island, and an aviation beacon was built on nearby Mile Hill to guide any pilots there. The most notable pilot to land at the airport was Amelia Earhart, who touched down September 16, 1929. The famed aviatress was flying from New York to Kansas City with her mother when a storm forced her to make a landing on the island. The Earharts waited at the Hotel Edison in Sunbury for the storm to clear, having lunch before continuing on their way. By the 1910s, motion pictures had taken off as a major entertainment medium, and for those who went to the theater in Sunbury, they had the chance to see a familiar face on the screen at times. Rosetta Dewart Bryce was born in Sunbury in 1888, the granddaughter of former U.S. Representative William Lewis Dewart. Her family eventually moved to Washington, D.C., where she would begin acting under the stage name Betty Bryce. She greatly enjoyed performing even from a young age, so much so that she broke off an engagement to her original fiancé, Horace Hurlbut, when he refused to support her career. By 1913, Bryce decided she wanted to get into the new motion picture industry. While on tour in Philadelphia, she presented herself at that city's Lubin Film Company for an interview. She was promptly hired, and her first role would be in the Civil War drama The Price of Victory. From this very first film, Bryce got to show off the athleticism that would be her trademark, as the script called for the film's heroine to dive into a river, blow up a bridge, and die from the falling timbers. More roles soon followed, and soon Bryce had a film career going, for which she would remark, "I dare say I will never fail to feel that little thrill that comes when I see myself on the screen." When Lubin folded in 1916, Bryce and her second husband, director Jack Pratt, moved out to Hollywood to continue making films. Among her titles over the next decade would be Michael Strogoff, A Man's Making, The Gods of Fate, and Humility. Bryce's final screen appearance would be in 1924's Beau Brummel, after which she stepped away from acting for reasons not wholly clear to this day. She died of heart disease in 1935 at age 46.
I'm 5 years old. It's kind of partly cloudy.
You're watching WYLN TV 35,